What to do about children who were brought here illegally but have grown up in America. Hello, I'm Tim Wildman. Welcome to Reason and Company. Ed Vitagliano and Abraham Hamilton III with me. We're going to talk about that right now because that's much in the news. Abe, this was a campaign promise that President Trump made, and that is dealing with this law that was created by executive order by President Obama, what, in 2012? What is
That's
this exactly we're talking
Yeah.
about here?
And I think you just hit the nail on the head. Law created by the president, which
Right.
is illegal in the United States of America. But what happened in 2012, former President Barack Obama enacted through executive order a program called DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, that purported to allow legal status basically for children who have been brought to America illegally, albeit not based on their own volitional initiative. And so he implemented that program for years during his first term, President Obama that is, saying that he could not act unilaterally. And then after he gets elected, lo and behold, magic happens, and what previously was illegal now becomes constitutional because you don't have to face another re-election. So we now are at the place where President Trump had promised to rescind the DACA program, which he has now announced that he's done, giving 6 months before he implements this rescission for Congress to respond.
Ed, this is sort of, it pulls at your heartstrings.
Sure.
I mean, it pulls at your emotions. Even people who are law and order, have to go, what do you do about those children who were brought here illegally? So no fault of their own. This is the only country they've ever known. Do we deport them? Do we send them back? What President Obama did created this huge mess. Now, he gave them Social Security numbers, sort of set them on a path to citizenship. What do you think about all this?
Well, I think that it is a very complex issue. The DACA, regulations are fairly complex. And this is what happens when Congress does not do its job. Congress should be handling this. That's constitutional. The president shouldn't be throwing these kinds of regulations into the mix. Tim, I am firmly convinced that Congress is going to handle this in a capable and responsible way. No, Congress isn't going to do anything over the next 6 months.
Waiting for the lightning to strike.
No, this is a disaster.
Yeah,
I think the only way to solve this issue, whether or not you have amnesty, for the children that came with parents and are now grown-ups and all of that needs to be settled by Congress. It doesn't need to be settled by the executive branch, but there has to be a wall. You have got to shut the door. Right. And we've been saying this, so it almost sounds like a trite response, but the only way to keep this from happening again and to solve the problem internally in America, what do you do with illegal immigrants, is you've got to turn off the spigot. Right. And Congress, even Republicans, seem to have no appetite for building a wall. And President Trump is essentially, with a few exceptions in Congress, is essentially on his own, saying we've got to turn off the spigot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with this. It's now in the hands of the legislative body, which Ed has so much faith in. So we'll see what happens with that. Thanks for joining us on Reason and Company.